Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Alex and today we're going to talk about one of the most underestimated sports Rolex watches on the market. We're going to talk about the Rolex Yacht-Master 40, reference number 126621, and it comes with the steel and everose gold combination. Before we jump in and start to talk about why I like this watch so much, let's talk a bit about the history of the Rolex Yacht-Master very briefly. It was introduced back in 1992 and it came in a solid 18 karat yellow gold combination. It was a really flashy piece and it reminds me a bit about when the Sky Dweller was introduced. It was just a chunk of gold. They introduced the stainless steel version of the Rolex Yacht-Master back in late 90s, in 1999. And it then came with the very nice platinum dial, which I really haven't appreciated until a couple of years ago, like 2-3 years ago. Fast forward to 2015 and they introduced the Rolex Yacht-Master in everose gold. This is one of the best sports models from Rolex, and this is when they introduced the Oyster Flex bracelet, which is, seen on many different models right now, such as the Rolex Daytona. The year after the introduction of the everose gold Yacht-Master, many were expecting the stainless steel version to follow along, but instead they introduced this beautiful watch under the reference 116621. And eventually now, back 3 years ago in 2019, they upgraded the movement to follow along with this new caliber 3235 along many model lines. And that is the watch I have on my wrist today. So why do I like the Yacht-Master that much? Well, to start with, I actually had one of the stainless steel versions from the end of the 90s to the mid 2000s, and it was the 16622. But I didn't actually have it with the platinum dial that I now like so much. I actually had it with the blue dial. And this was a great summer's watch for me. I had it for a couple of months during summertime, and I loved how it felt on the wrist, how it sat on my wrist, how the K-shape looks. And to be fully honest, since like 2016, 2017, when the Rolex hype started with all these sports models going way above retail and being so hard to get, my love for Rolex, especially the modern pieces, has faded away a bit. But this model is actually the exception, and since the introduction in 2016, this has been one of the watches on my shortlist. I haven't bought it yet. I might not buy it, but I still really like this watch. Let's talk a bit about why I like this watch that much. And for first, it's how it feels on the wrist, the ergonomics of the case, and how nicely it sits on my 16.5 centimeter wrist. And this is something, since the introduction of the maxi cases or the super cases or whatever you call it, they have always been a bit chunky on my wrist. So there's been two models actually that I have always felt at home with on the wrist, and that's the Daytona and the Yacht-Master. And they are quite similar in their design of the case. The feeling how it sits on the wrist is very important to me, and this one sits really nice, which makes all the other aspects just a bonus basically, and that is the combination of steel and everose gold, which I find very nice. You have this bezel that is sandblasted with the numerals on the bezel raised a bit above and polished, and this is a nice sporty touch to the watch. Even though it's a sports watch, it's still a bit elegant as well, I must say, just because the fact how nice it hugs the wrist and that it's more curved compared to the Submariner or the GMT Master, for instance. The case shape and the bezel, and last but not least, of course, we have this beautiful brown, chocolate brown sunburst dial. I like the fact that this sunburst dial is not as much in your face as, for example, the two-tone Submariner with the blue dial. It's it really screams a lot, you know, also with the Hulk, for example. But this dial is a bit more toned down, and that's what I like about it, because it just blends in very nice with the overall aesthetics of the watch. One small thing that I don't like about the dial is actually the text Yacht-Master that's in red. And that's because I think it is a bit of a mismatch. I'd rather see it in like the same color as the Rolex logo and text, but I mean, that's just me probably. So other than that, I still think this is a great watch. Nowadays, you can also get this watch with the matte black dial, which also is a great option. Actually, this is one of the watches from the sports segment that is the most accessible, so to say, to get from your local AD. I've been talking to some retailers here in Sweden and asking around for it just to see, you know, how long the waiting line or the waiting list is. And it's about 4 to 6 months. So for me, that's, I mean, considering everything, that's quite okay, I guess. Because to wait 4 or 6 months to get one of these beauties on your wrist, I think it's totally worth it. The retail price for this watch is around 15,000 euros in Sweden. Depending on your country and currency, it might differ a bit. But I mean, considering that you get the gold and steel Rolex from the sports line that just looks gorgeous on the wrist, it's quite a good catch. And if you can't wait, it's about 20 to 25% above retail on the secondary market right now. We'll see about that, how those things change in the near future, because the market is a bit shaky right now, to say the least. So overall, a very nice looking watch. I love how it sits on the wrist. I love this sporty yet elegant take, and I love the combination of stainless steel and everose gold. So I might just actually call my AD and make an order, because the more I wear it, the more I like it. That's just my quick take on the Rolex Yacht-Master 126621. So that's it, guys. That's my 2 cents on why I think this is one of the most underestimated Rolex sports watches on the market. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up, and if you loved it, please subscribe to the channel, and I see you next time.